Welcome to the Four Visions Market podcast, a space built on the principles of integrity and reciprocity. Together, we will engage in thought-provoking conversations about plant medicines, why these plants are coming out of the rainforest, jungles, and mountains after thousands of years, and what it means to be in right relationship with the ancestral wisdom cultures and guardians of these traditions. I'm your host, Mariah Gannessa, founder and director of Four Visions Market. This podcast is the natural evolution in our commitment to providing you, our tribe, with incredible resources to support you on your healing journey through plant medicines. Welcome home. Welcome back, Four Visions family. Today on the show, we are blessed to have Lua Cheia join us. My dear sister Lua is a woman devoted to life, a channel of the Divine Mother, a musician, herbalist, woman of prayer, ceremonialist, activist, permaculturist, poet, writer, artist, and much more. Her foundation is rooted in embodied wellness practices. She has immersed herself deeply through study, research, training, and hands-on experience in the realms of holistic herbalism, integrative holistic health, sacred self-care, Ayurveda, detoxification methodologies, nourishment, foundational well-being, deep immersive fasting, dieta, breathwork, womb purification, celibacy, elemental ritual, ancestral arts, and healing modalities for 15 years. Lua has spent the last decade and a half of her life learning through ceremony, prayer, ancestral healing, death and rebirth, sound healing, earth ritual, rites of passage, and deep initiation. She walks this path with overflowing gratitude and inspiration to continue to learn, grow, and live rooted in devotion from the core of her being, to living in tandem with the pillars of unconditional love, the beauty way, compassion, freedom, truth, purity of mind, body, spirit, integrity, healing, justice, preservation, restoration, creativity, peace, prayer, honor, and devotion. This week, in honor of May being the month of the mother, I asked Lua to come on the show and share with us some of her embodied wisdom on how to invoke and call in the presence of the Divine Mother into our lives. The conversation that ensued was absolutely magical. For me, my relationship with the Great Mother has been a pivotal and elemental guarding force behind my own spiritual journey, and as a result, the birthing of this project for Visions Market. So it felt really fitting to honor the mother and bring her in on this week's episode, where we celebrate her and enter into a beautiful reflection of how to deepen our relationship to her. My brothers and sisters, this episode is for all those who are seeking a deeper relationship with the origin of your creation. I invite you to join us at this altar of love for this special episode in honor of our Blessed Mother.
A quick word from our sponsors before we begin this episode.
Today's episode is brought to you by the Suma Kausai Music Festival in partnership with Four Visions Market and Finca Ambiwasi. We welcome you to join us in Colombia at Finca May 30th through June 2nd, 2023 for 4 days of epic music, celebration, teachings from wisdom keepers, plant medicine, and community building. Suma Kausai is an Ingano term meaning the good life, and this festival will truly embrace the joy and sweetness that this good life has to offer us. Headlining, we have some incredible world-renowned musicians, including Pia, Ajit, and Grupo Putumayo. Our lineup is full of beautiful medicine musicians from the Finca Ambiwasi family, as well as Colombian musicians and some more surprise guests. Learn more about the event by going to tinyurl.com/Suma Kausai Festival. That's Suma, S-U-M-A, Kausai, C-A-U-S-A-Y Festival. This is an all-inclusive event that includes pickup and drop-off at Bogota Airport, all food and accommodations, and all the incredible concerts, workshops, and offerings during our 4 days together. Due to the size of our center, the festival is limited to 50 participants, and we're filling up quickly. If you feel the call to join us this spring, don't wait. Sign up today to reserve your spot at this super special healing event. Hey, we are live. I'm so excited to welcome my beloved sister Lua to the podcast today. Thank you so much for being here for this beautiful conversation. Feeling really grateful and blessed to get to open this portal together today. Whenever we connect, magic just seems to happen and amplify our energies and our connections. So I'm really excited for what's to come forth in today's conversation, just honoring you and welcome you to the show.
Thank you so much, love. It's truly an honor to be here, and I'm really grateful for the opportunity to speak upon this topic. It's literally the most perfect topic that we could speak upon. So thank you for welcoming me to share my heart and weave with you in this way. I'm really honored and grateful.
Amazing. Yay. So before we get into all things the mother and whatever beauty she has to share with us today, I want to ask you to introduce yourself a little bit to our platform and maybe share how your journey and your relationship with nature and the plants have evolved and came into being. And actually, that's probably going to bring in the mother and naturally as you share, but tell us a little bit about who you are and your path and what you came to this earth to do.
Yeah, I've been on my journey in this particular way with the plants and the commitment and devotion to healing for the last 15 years. And I am an herbalist and also a holistic health advocate and someone who is just so passionate about detox modality and the art of fasting and just health in mind, body, and spirit, as well as ceremony and ritual and making offerings as a way of life. And I'm just really grateful for the sacred path of healing in the beauty way that has truly shaped me as a person who I would not be where I am without, and all of the beautiful teachers that I've had the privilege and opportunity to learn from and study with over the last 15 years, as well as the plants themselves in all the different facets, as well as the elementals. And so yeah, I'm just really devoted to the waters primarily, and that which is life-giving and preserving, protecting, uplifting, and bringing all of the preservation to that which is sacred at the center of the altar of my heart, and the prayer that is woven between all beings, all races, and all tribes and people on this earth. And so I'm devoted to the waters and really embodying the divine feminine in all of her facets and being a clear channel to bring through the mother, really. And in that, in this devotion to the path, it's an ever evolving relationship and study that deepens ever more all the time. And I'm a humble student to that and really grateful for every day that I get to deepen in my relationship to her and really ask the ways that I can serve her. And this moment, it's really through a nonprofit organization for the waters and holistic health and herbalism and ceremony and prayer as a way of life and other facets as well. So.
So beautiful. I'm so excited to get to share you with our Four Visions community, because just getting to be your friend over the years has been such an incredible blessing. And I really admire the way in which you show up in your life and with your work and your devotion to nature, your devotion to this life and in valuing life in all of its beauty. And so thank you for introducing yourself to us. And I'd like to, ask you to expand a little bit on your relationship with the mother. We're here in the beautiful month of May, and I asked you to come on and have this conversation to highlight and bring in the great mother. And this is obviously a connection that has bonded us in our sisterhood and in our friendship, our devotion to her, and the ways in which she has uniquely touched our lives and been a pillar and a guide for us in unique ways, from the way in which she is to all her children who call upon her. And so with that, please share with us about your relationship to the Divine Mother and how it has evolved over the years. And perhaps for those who might not know the mother and might not have a direct relationship with the mother, perhaps you could start by giving a little bit of context.
Yeah, this is such a beautiful and deep question that is so nuanced and profound. And I just want to share my own experience with the Divine Mother and also express how deeply I honor all of our relations to her and how the infinite variations of the way we all commune with her are so sacred and equal and profound, and just honoring all of that infinite relationship in this web of life and the way we relate to her. And in my own intimate and direct relationship to the Divine Mother, she's always been there. And for me, she is the source of all life. And for me, all life comes from the Sacred Mother of all of creation. She's the void and the ancient mystery, the ancient, ineffable space that breathes and births all life into being. And I connect with her deeply as a sweetgrass braid is how I see it through all of my lineage and back to that original womb of creation where all life began and continues to be birthed from in an inextricable and unbreakable and shakable love that is interwoven with all of creation. And for me, the more that I empty and uncover, and it's the polishing of the jewel within, the remembrance, the ancient primordial gnosis of this memory of belonging and this knowing, this inherent birthright to receive and to truly be the child of her love, the deeper that this connection goes, and also the deeper that I can hear her, the more clearly I can hear her. And so for me, it's been a process of remembering and deepening through purification, through unlearning, and all of the work that comes along with emptying the vessel to be a clear conduit to hear, and getting really still and quiet, and staying really humble as her daughter to listen. And so for me, the mother is my guide and my guardian, and she's everything to me. And I see all of creation and all of life as her children. And so for me, she's the ultimate and the source and the one that is at the center of the altar of my heart, and this prayer that I weave and walk in this life in my utmost devotion and reverence to her. And I'm just so grateful for that connection that is so unbreakable, that deepens every day in this devotional study of sacred relationship and remembering and dissolution into what is and what has always been. And for me, what will always be, which is being a humble daughter of the Sacred Mother, the mother of all of creation. And I feel it's the most direct connection for me to the source. It's the most direct connection to the divine, because the mother, again, births all life. And in that, she is the virtuous emanation and embodiment of all of the qualities and the virtues that are at the forefront of my prayer and altar. And so, yeah, I just see her as the ultimate direct teacher. And I love the connection in that involution and in deepening, because I see, a lot of people look up, which is beautiful. And I agree to bring that beautiful energy into our bodies from cielo, from the great expansion above. And also on this journey, the deeper my roots go into the earth, the more unshakable and unwavering and steadfast in faith and trust in this love that, like a tree, and the sustenance from her. And so for me, it's been a process of involution and in creating this space to hear and to remember and to simply receive what is already there and what is. And so it's been such a beautiful process that still will continue to unfold as long as I am alive and beyond. And yeah, I just feel the mother is the ultimate guide for me and keeps my priorities really, really strong and clear on this earth. Because then everything that I do, I get to look at those pillars of those virtuous value systems and ask, is this life-giving? Is this in alignment and in service to the mother? And the mother is ultimate compassion and unconditional love and is the birther of life. And so in that, it really brings great responsibility and awareness to the actions, words, and deeds, the thoughts within me. And the question, is this life-giving to the web of creation? Because all of these relations are my family and a child of her, from the smallest microbe to the tallest mountain to that which I cannot see. And to honor that all equally as sacred is really, just what the mother's compass brings me into orientation with, and thus into, for me, what I feel is integral, aligned relationship with the mycelial, biomimical, biodiverse web of life. And so I feel just the most deep reverence and gratitude for her. And there's so much that could never be encompassed in words of what that relationship is. And it's so ineffable and beyond the expression through words. But I'm just really honored that this connection is so strong and that I have the opportunity to deepen it every day. And what I also love is that we all have that connection. And in that, it just feels so equitable and so unifying. And in that is that glue that binds the continuum together and weaves us as family. And that birthright and that wholeness and that essential being that we all are as her children. And so, it's just very connective and very unifying and such a divine wellspring of beauty and wisdom and unconditional love. And I think these words are used a lot, but the teachings of walking them on a daily basis are profound and in the microcosmic, most nuanced facet of what that means, And so in that dedication to her on this path, on this path of healing and ancestral remembrance and the weaving back into the earth, it's been profound to touch base with the origin of my mother and to honor my mother and my matrilineal lineage and all life, and the sacred feminine within all of creation, and then really tap into the source of where did my mother come from, and my grandmother, and all of the divine feminine principles and the energy in all of creation that weaves through us. And so that direct connection is the guiding star of the way through this life for me. And that's which keeps me in integrity and alignment to weave this ancient prayer all the way through the future generations, and not just the 7th, but the 7,000th to come, to ensure that my actions, thoughts, words, and deeds are truly life-giving, as the mother would wish upon her children, and how she loves all equally. And so it really, this connection is a connection that is always here, and it's something that I nurture on a daily basis in every single moment. And I'm very humbled and very grateful to the Divine Mother and the feminine force of creation that weaves through all life. And yeah, she's my guiding compass and my true just teacher. And so I'm really honored and grateful and to her and all that she teaches and all that she mirrors and shares.
Thank you. Just allowing that to sit in. That was so beautiful and so eloquently shared, and from a place of such humility and love. So I just want to honor that transmission and really celebrate this connection with the mother. You just shared so many incredible seeds of palpable wisdom on how we can open our hearts and our minds to invite the Sacred Mother into our consciousness. And some things that really stood out for me was this concept of life giving. And really, that is a radical concept, to let that be the compass that orients and guides every decision, every thought, every action that we take. And that really holds this prayer for humanity, if we can choose to act from that place of such divine, loving compassion. What does that mean for the life that we create for our children and the generations to come from that level of consciousness? It's like brings hope to my heart just to think about that and the possibilities. And another thing that really stood out, this idea that the mother is here for all of us. She doesn't differentiate between any of her children, right? So the littlest frog and the biggest animal that walks upon this earth are equal in the eyes of the mother. And so that we are all her children and that we're all interconnected in her eyes, and to be able to cultivate this relationship with her. You're not special. I'm not special in this divine relationship. It is a gift that has been given to all beings of creation. And when we can open to her love, when we can open to her consciousness and her guiding force of creation, she talks to us, she guides us, she comes into our hearts and soothes our hearts and brings this nourishing balm of infinite love, this nectar, this sweetness. And so, one question I have that I would love for you to expand on is how to cultivate this relationship with her. Because, we're here in this beautiful month of May and she's here with us always. But this special time of year, you feel her palpably. And we're here and celebrating releasing this episode around Mother's Day. And so we're celebrating the mothers in our life. And it's this time of year in our Western society when there's just a little bit more awareness towards the mother. And for us, living in today's world, we're not living in a society that necessarily values the Great Mother or even brings her into daily consciousness or the collective consciousness. And, feel free to go into that more if you feel called. But essentially, we're at this really unique time when beings are waking up to what it means to be in harmony with nature for the first time, and for some lineages, thousands and thousands of years. And so there's this great call. The mother is literally reclaiming her children, calling us back to her, calling us back to be in service to her, to be her humble warriors of light, protecting her and preserving her and uplifting her so that she can heal us and accompany us on this journey. And I think just one other thing I share before I let you kind of elaborate on this concept of cultivating our relationship with the mother is the mother is always here. She's here waiting for us to welcome her in. And so when we still the mind and we create space in the vessel of our hearts, she will come and she is just waiting for us to create that space. And so that's one element that has stayed with me in my awareness every day as I seek to know her more and cultivate my relationship with her. And I would love to hear what words come through you in regards to someone who was like feeling the call, feeling this palpable call to connect with the great feminine and the great mother principle.
I love what you shared regarding the creating of space. And I would love to share the certain ways and practices that this relationship continues to deepen and cultivate for me, and also share that there's so much that cannot be covered in this one talk. So just leaving that nuance here. But the ones that I feel are most prominent and coming through in my heart are, connecting to the waters and this involutionary principle of going within in self-reflection and in receptivity, and really embodying this open chalice like clay, and feeling really open and receptive and hollow, like a hollow bone in a way, filled with love, yet just fully receptive, like a blossoming lotus, like a sweet flower. And through this opening from within, and the stillness and the true silence, she comes very strong. And I feel she has such profound grace and wisdom, like the water trickles and it flows, but it doesn't shout. And there's so much wisdom within that ineffable, sacred silence that I feel she beckons our receptivity to bring forth her greatest jewels. And it's this invitation into that feminine principle that we all have within us, that in that I receive and commune the deepest with her. And so I just wanted to expand upon what you shared, because that's very prominent and very true for me as well. And it's in honoring the sacred waters that is one of the primary ways that I feel most connected to the Divine Mother, as I see the waters of life as the Divine Mother. And like I was saying, that glue that binds the continuum together, the primordial womb of creation, the primordial void, and the primordial ancient memory of that which is life-giving. And in those waters of life, which we are 99% on a molecular level, that love and memory, the song lines, the wisdom, the ancient guidance of her crystalline, coherent, true origin lives within. And for me, the waters of life are within all, right? And without those waters of life, there wouldn't be life. And all life is made of water on a molecular level, and even in the single cell microorganisms. And so for me, the number one, embracing and realization and contemplation and consistent devotion to creating sanctuary within, with the recognition and the responsibility that is my honor to carry as a child on this earth of her love, to ripple peace and clarity and healing into the waters within me, and thus outside of me into the web of life. And that responsibility as a alive being that is 99% water, to uphold that which is life-giving within me. And so it's this constant prayer and devotion to asking and checking myself of how can I be in integrity and even embody a facet of the mother's love and her all-embracing compassion, even just one drop of that unshakable boundless, bottomless wellspring of divine mercy, love, compassion, and that original prayer and will, really. And so this is a constant meditation in also creating that within those waters within me and embodying those virtues of the Divine Mother and in really embracing these waters within, first and foremost, as sacred, and being a water carrier, as someone who is alive, carrying the waters in my blood and sweat and tears and all that I am. And so in that is this profound ancient wellspring of wholeness, which to me is the deepest communion with the mothers through innate essential beingness. And stripping bare naked and coming to that altar within the Sacred Heart to receive and to be what has always been and what will always be. And so it's this primal, simplistic, humble, pure, and crystal clear embodiment. And in that, I feel so held in those amniotic waters, and in that guided, and all of the distractions fall away. And so I also love praying to water and uplifting water, and with every drink and with all of the communions in our lives, and how in honoring water as my mother and as the divine living feminine principle and life giver, that is the amniotic fluid, that is our blood, that is the rivers of the earth, that is all life, I feel is one of the primary ways for me to, in daily life, cultivate a relationship with the mother, because she is here and she is alive and she is speaking to me in all moments from within these waters that I have the privilege to carry. And in that, I am honored to have that responsibility, because we have the power to ripple that into the future generations, to weave this healing all the way back to our original ancestors and also through. And also grounding, I feel, is so primary, because there's this deepening into the earth, as the earth is my mother in this life, because I'm here on earth, and there's the infinite, primordial, cosmic, divine mother that is beyond all times and worlds and names and anything that we could even fathom. And then also here in this life, I'm here on earth. And so in communing with the earth mother, I can taste her and touch her and feel her and ground into her and receive that embrace that is always here and available right below my feet, and that I am made of and comprised of as these minerals in my body and these bones that shall return to her. And so there's this grounding, involutionary deepening, like the roots of a tree, that connect me to that first woman, whoever was here, that first divine mother who is the lineage carrier of all of us. And so it's like tapping into the seed that then sprouted the tree in which we are all of these beautiful branches upon. And so for me, it's a process of deepening in the earth, and that as a way of life in so many different facets, from living sustainably to communing with land, to growing food and herbs as medicine, to reclaiming that sovereignty here on earth and birthright to truly live in that way that we always have, and that ancient remembrance, and is really important for me and my connection to the mother, because it's, again, the life-giving principle, and sowing the seeds and watering those which nourish all life. And so in that, with the compass of that as the priority, it isn't all about me, and I can live my life as a prayer, because it is a ceremony in every moment as we carry these waters of life that are, for me, the ultimate medicine. And I get to take action like the Divine Mother would, and as she flows through me, and plant seeds that nourish all and that are truly bring bounty to not only myself. It's like the principle of planting a tree that I'll never sit under, or growing a garden that I may never eat from. And I mean this in the very most direct sense of what I'm speaking to. And also it's a metaphor for however that variation may flow through each and every one of us. And in that, it's this selfless but embodied and divine act of compassion and service that, as one small human on this earth and daughter of her, I can only even, offer what I can, but it is my dedication to do my part. And so, yeah, I would say that grounding, essential rooting into the earth and embracing the mother in this life, which we all return to, which we all came from in this life, is very important. And I feel is so imperative in these times as well, when so many are disconnected to the earth, and basically it's this taking without ever asking, is this okay, or for permission, or listening to when enough is enough, and how endlessly she gives, and what a mirror and profound teacher she is in bounty and in boundless, unconditional, overflowing, compassionate grace and abundance. And also in communing with the mother, it's really honoring and listening to that wisdom that comes from tuning in and asking permission and slowing down enough to honor all she already has given. And so that practice of recognition and gratitude on a daily basis, just for the opportunity to even be alive, and recognizing all that I already have, just getting to breathe clean air, truly. And clean water is truly one of the highest privileges, I would say, on earth. And that privilege and that blessing, and the food and the sacred seeds and all the hands in life, the microbes, the bees, the pollinators, the waters, the all of the fertile soil, and that brought that food to my plate. And so for me, it's this act of continual recognition and acknowledgement, and giving credit where it's due, and making those payments through, I do a lot of ritual offerings of feeding the earth and feeding the elementals and feeding the land and the spirits of the land, the ancestors, the elementals, and all of life, and making those prayers where 99.9% of the daily prayer is not just about me. And the reason why is, when I pray for the mother and offer to all of life, I'm included in that, but I'm not the center of that. And it doesn't end with me. And I love to place the prayer and the focus to feed and nourish the source of life, because in that, all is in alignment and alive and well. And I trust in the mother's divine will. And so it's a continual just alignment of aligning my will with her will. And I want what she wants, and I want her to move through me and to be empty enough to speak through me. And so meditation and fasting has been a profound catalyst for me on my path for 15 years of water fasting. And there's a way to fast. And so I'm not just saying go and water fast. There are ways to fast that are super integral and supportive in a holistic way for the body, and integrative and all encompassing. And that has been a really profound modality of doing without to fortify what is, of eliminating distractions and consumptions and coping mechanisms to reveal what's already here. And in that, receive it fully and recognize it completely, and have true gratitude for all that I already have, which is truly more than enough. And in that, I feel so overwhelmed with gratitude for life that I just want to share the bounty that I have been blessed with, like the mother does. And it's a small act, you know, I mean, she is the ultimate. And in that, embodying those virtuous qualities of bounty and the overflowing fountain of giving and also receiving. And so it's that Aini reciprocity that is so also important in my relationship to the mother, and maintaining integrity and maintaining the balance of honoring, you know, her and all that she gives, and that I make offerings every day, and really listening to all of the ancestors and all of the elementals as beautiful embodiments and offerings of her body, because I see this earth as her breast, you know, like living on the mother in her embodied facet in this life, and honoring her and walking lightly and in beauty and planting seeds and ensuring the preservation, protection, and revitalization of what is sacred. And for me, that is what brings life. What is sacred is that which is life-giving, that which is the fundamental primordial essence that we all need to thrive. And so yeah, and through that can look like, for me, gardening, planting seeds. That can look like working on preserving sacred waters. That can look like ensuring equity and equal distribution and access to that which all life truly needs to thrive, and that is our birthright, and that is what our mother wants for all of us, and that is actually necessary for us to continue and make it through these times, is to have our priorities clear again. And so in that, it really brings everything into clarity for me and eliminates distractions, and living sustainably as well, because I have embraced the earth as my mother and grounded that into this life, because this is where I am. And I feel such deep, profound healing has come through that communion and this sense of belonging, and a sense of just deep gnosis and ancient memory and ancient rootedness, which supports this prayer to be grounded here on earth and to actualize in the form. And so there's so many different practices, but I would say making offerings are really important, and just paying that homage and respect and giving acknowledgement, and that I am her daughter and I am her student, and really on a daily basis, she is the center of my heart's altar, and I am here behind, just, you know, in the seat of the observer, creating the space in every moment that I remember, in every moment that I breathe, to the best of my ability, to allow her to take form and embody and inform and guide me on this path in the ways she sees fit, because I'm here on her body, and I do trust that she knows what's best, and I want to align my will with hers. And so, yeah, I'd say also just wanted to honor that ancestral healing as well, and the matrilineal lineages, and just connecting to the ancestors and honoring where I come from, and honoring, you know, those lineages to that original woman, like a sweetgrass braid, has been a profound connection to the mother for me. And in that, just feels very grounding and supportive, and something that we all, again, share, and is so sacred and such a guiding compass. And I just believe in all that I just shared, of going deep down so that the roots may bring birth to the great fruits that the future generations may receive the sustenance from. And only as deep as I go, as high as I can fly, and only as deep as I honor and bow to what has been, can I truly be guided and have the clarity of where I am going. And so it's this reverence and respect and honor and true gratitude for all that it took to get to this moment, and the mastery that is this creation and all of the steps of our ancestors who've come before us, and all life, which is singing this harmony, this harmonic symphony. And so it's just a daily practice of asking, how can, first and foremost, what is my note? What is my place? And what are the gifts in this basket that my ancestors gifted me? These inherent gifts that we all have, acknowledging them, and then singing that note in key and in harmony with all of creation is really an honor that I get to live, and also tunes me to be clear enough to hear the mother, because for me, it's just required a complete humbling and acknowledging that I am only a human being, and there's so much more than what my mind believes it knows. And in that ineffable silence and infinite mystery of her primordial waters live the greatest wisdom that sometimes are so beyond words that can only be felt, but it's the gnosis. And yeah, so those are just some of the ways that I found grounding in the firmament of her love. And there's so much more. And I honor the way that we all weave with the Divine Mother and the way she births and creates through us as conduits of her love and her will. And yeah, thank you for asking that question. And that's just a little window into that. And yeah, there's just so much more that lives in the hearts that I feel we all share and can feel beyond words. So, mhm.
So beautiful. I love it. I love getting to hear the ways in which the mother has been with you and speaks through you, and all these tangible ways too in which we can all feel her love and connect with her and deepen our relationship with her. So many different incredible seeds were just planted in that sharing, and really encourage everyone who's tuning in to really just let all of this really seep into the depths of our beings and the depths of our cells and our hearts, and really just open to this overarching message that the mother is here knocking on the door of our hearts, waiting for us to let her in, and to really create that space in our lives to be able to feel her and know her and love her. And so first, just thank you for all that beautiful, beautiful sharing and channeling, and really feeling so much resonance with that. So one of the plants that has been pivotal for me in opening the door to the mother has been the rose. And the rose for me has held tremendous information that has allowed me to perceive the messages of the mother throughout my own spiritual journey. And the rose is so infinite in her messages and her medicine. And I feel really called to ask you to speak a little bit on the sacred rose. I know that you are a cultivator of roses. You have rose gardens that you tend to, and you also have a profound relationship with this particular flower. And for those who do not know, Lua actually makes our divine rose hydrosol that we are now carrying on the marketplace. And so we actually are carrying Lua's divine connection to the rose, and it's a really special product for anyone who feels called to work with it. Just a little side note. And ultimately, the sacred rose, it's such an incredible portal into knowing the medicine of the mother and her divine wisdom. And within it lies so many codes of ancient information and messages. And so I'm really excited to just hear what is meant to come through from you, Lua, on this beautiful topic of the medicine of the rose.
Thank you so much for bringing through the spirit of the rose and her beauty into this conversation. It's so poignant and aligned, and I'm so honored that Four Visions is carrying that gorgeous creation and to hydrate everyone with and bless and anoint your temples with. And yeah, just the spirit of the rose and the codes that she weaves through my life are so profound, and really there's so much, but one of the core threads that is coming through in this moment is the cyclical nature of creation, and how in her blooming she dances the cycles of Venus and of love. And within those cycles is death and birth and going deep within to blossom and to root, and how when you have roses, you prune them. And at first, it can feel really scary because you cut off quite a bit of the rose. And at first, in that introduction to her sacred medicine, it can be like, oh no, you don't want to take too much off. And yet, in cultivating roses, I love to bring through metaphor with plants in terms of how my relationship is in growing them and cultivating them, because I find that teaches me so much of how they live, how they thrive, and what they need. And it's a really profound way to understand that medicine in a deeper way as well. And so, yeah, in pruning the roses and in cutting back, I feel the rose really has shown me the essence of trusting in the involution and dissolving, in peeling back, in going deep within, because she sends all of her energy down into her roots, and it's this period of just bare nakedness. And a lot of plants do this, but you don't prune a lot of plants like you do rose. And so it's this trust that, okay, I can let go of this much of what I am perceived to be, of what has served previous cycles and ways of being, to create new space to bring in the growth that is wanting to arrive in this next season. And so she's such a mirror of this seasonal cyclical dance of the way that I can love myself through embracing the winds of change, through honoring the seasons, through honoring that there is a very deep, falling away and shedding process and going within. And in that I am making space for new growth. And it doesn't always appear that way in the moment, but it's this faith. And with her thorns, she brings the most bountiful, nectar-filled, glorious beauty through her waters and through her oil and just through her embodiment as a flower. And yet she has boundaries, she knows her line. She knows where she ends and I begin. And in that, I read a long time ago that that compassion and the most compassionate people have those boundaries of steel, and how I feel the rose really teaches ultimate compassion and unconditional love. And she is so gorgeous, the queen of the flowers, so beautiful. And I feel that she can, because she has boundaries, and it's truth delivered with love. It's that straight spine that she has, and that protection that she embodies, that she can bloom, that she can offer herself. And so I feel she's so balanced, and in the intricate unfolding of her petals live the great mystery of the Venusian cycles, which reflect on a astrodynamic level into our plane here on Earth, the cycles of our internal waters and the dance of love that lives within us and that we naturally go through. And so in seeing the rose and tending to her in that garden and working with her medicine, I've really gotten to embrace more of the seasons of my life and the natural processes that will unfold. And the more that I can embrace that, the more gracious it becomes, where it's not shocking, it's not, something out of the ordinary. It's actually very much in line, and it's a part of the process. And with the sweetness comes the necessity to let go. First and foremost, it's like embracing the bitterness, embracing the thorn, embracing the bitter truth that there is in this world and within me. And in that, I can receive the sweetness, but I first have to embrace that. And so it's not one without the other. And so that's one of the facets of the rose that I really honor and see her as my teacher within. And yeah, that sweetness that she brings is just the most divine. And in that, I get to honor what it took and what it means to bring that through and forward as she does, and all of that she requires and goes through to bring to her bloom the sweet fragrance of the blossoming nectar of the merciful mother's love, which I feel is really what the rose emanates and is mirrored as, and that we place her as a society, right? And feel that so deeply, and as a cosmic divine feminine flower. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. I love it. Thank you. Sweetness and the bitterness and her loving strength, and the way she is the strong mother in all of her softness and all of her delicacy and her sweet, soft petals. But then there's also this element of firmness. And that is kind of what the mother has to teach us. And she is the epitome of the mother in that representation and that embodiment. So thank you for sharing. I love it, and getting to hear, your wisdom flow through in this conversation, and all of the different elements that were woven into today. Really just honoring and celebrating. And I'm hoping that everyone who's tuning in has been able to tune into this prayer, this frequency of the mother and of the sacred feminine, of this primordial life force energy that exists on this planet in each one of us and each one of our hearts. And my prayer is that this conversation has served those listening an opportunity to drop into this vibration, this loving vibration of compassion and this infinite love, because this is the medicine, this is the gift that the mother has for us. And if we can call forth this power at this time, the beauty that is to come for us as humans, for us as part of the earth, and for all beings on this earth, it's infinite, and only beauty is to come for us, and it's awaiting us. So just want to thank you. And at this time, I'd love to ask you to share a little bit more about your offerings and Clareia, if you feel called, and just give people opportunity to learn a little bit more about how they can connect with you further.
Thank you, sweet sister. I'm so honored for this conversation and the opportunity to give a little window into the heart of the relation to the mother. And there's so much more, and it's deep and so endless and vast. And yeah, I have a botanical apothecary that I've been cultivating as an herbalist. I've been an herbalist for 15 years, but Clareia blossomed 7 years ago and was an offering that literally just poured through in communion with the mother and celebration, and so much just devotional prayer and joy. And as creation started flowing through me, it became requested to offer them. And so Clareia very naturally birthed and unfolded as a need and request from my community and many people. And so it was a very organic blooming. And essentially Clareia is a call and an offering for integration and nourishment for our bodies, for the sustainability of walking this path, because it requires all of us, all of our energy. And it's a marathon, it's not a race. And so Clareia is the offering of integrative, holistic, nourished well-being, so that we may fulfill our dharma and our purpose on this earth with longevity, health, and well-being. And there's about 150 creations in the Botanical Apothecary, and they're permaculturally homegrown, and a lot is biodynamic. And just such an honor to cultivate the garden and offerings. There's all sorts of beautiful offerings to nourish your mind, your body, and your spirit, and really also tap into the seasonal cyclical natures and ways of living with the earth. And that's a very primary mission, as well as 10% of the proceeds go into nonprofit organizations for the water and for the pollinators and for the earth, and all different sorts of avenues of reciprocity to ensure that it is a full circle sustainable model. And I just am so honored to offer these creations and nourish those that I love and uplift us in every way so that our immune systems are strong and we may continue on this journey, as I really just feel that our health is so important and foundational to the alignment of our spirit as well, through this vessel and sanctuary that we are embodying, this temple. And so, I have Instagram where you can connect with me, and there are courses that are coming out that I've been cultivating for 15 years. I've been pretty underground and just in devotion on the ground level. And as I blossom and bloom, please feel free to stay in connection to receive information about future offerings that are embodied and integrated. And so I'm just taking my time with that, and they're coming online and many years in the making. And so I'm really excited for all to come, and all the offerings from holistic health and detox to embodying prayer and life as ceremony and beauty way teachings and so much more. So please stay on the lookout, and thank you for asking, Mariah. I honor you and For Vision so deeply, in all of your dedication to the mission of being in right relationship with the earth and the indigenous and all that you do. I'm just so grateful for you and how much hard work you've put into this beautiful vision and continue to, and your devotion on this path. And just thank you for your integrity and your commitment to walking in this way. And I really honor For Visions and all that you do and all that you support. So it's my honor, and thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, my sister, for being here. And just want to also affirm that Clareia products are incredible. So please check out her offerings, because each one of Lua's products are made with a tremendous amount of prayer and devotion, as I'm sure that you feel just by hearing her transmission and the way that she speaks and shares about her life and her walk. And so thank you. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you so much, Lua, for being here with us, celebrating you and wishing you many, many blessings on your path, my sister, and so much love.
From everyone at the Four Visions Market family, we would like to thank you for listening to our podcast. We really hope that you've enjoyed the conversation and gained many new insights on plant medicines, ancestral wisdom, and much more. Please remember to visit our website at www.fourvisionsmarket.com for more resources and information on plant medicine and spiritual tools. And please don't forget to follow us across social media for regular updates on upcoming episodes. We are grateful for your support and look forward to continuing this path with you all. Until next time, take care, stay present, and stay connected.